Hello and welcome to this little video I'm doing, this sort of podcast style kind of video that I'm making mostly to celebrate the fact that I recently unlocked super chats on my channel, which is very exciting. So now you can see that little heart $sign thing down there next to the like button and the subscribe button, which you should also check out while you're down there. And people can give me super chats and super thanks, which is incredibly appreciated. Every single nothing is too small. Literally, nothing is too small or too insignificant. You will never get overlooked. Every single form of appreciation that anyone shows, I see. Whether it would be through a super chat or just becoming a patron, or even just saying like, hey, I really like your videos. Even if you think it'll get lost in a sea of comments, I do read every single comment. Every single one, I promise you. So just thank you so much for helping me get to this point where I can unlock super chats, and it's really cool, and I appreciate you all so much, and just thank you so much. So to celebrate, I wanted to do something kind of more long form, because I feel like doing a premiere works better if it's a longer video. Maybe, I'm not sure. I've done one premiere before now. It was the week I unlocked the super chats, and it was for my Madoka Magica part 5, I think we're on, 4 or 5. The one with Charlotte on the cover. So, thumbnail, rather. So I did that, and that was fun. That was really cool. But I wanted to do something a bit more, properly to, we're doing this. This is the celebration event. And I guess that's what this is. I don't know how often I'll be doing premieres. I guess as per my whims. So yeah, I just wanted to do this. I wasn't sure what I wanted to really do. I know I wanted to do something that would be long form, so you could put this on and listen to it, and also, it'll be premiering, so you can be in the live stream chat. If you're there now while this is live, hello, say hello everybody. I'll be there, and I can just chat with everyone in the live chat too. I don't think I'd ever do streams. Streaming does not sound fun to me. It sounds incredibly stressful and scary, and not really my vibe. I specifically went to a university to get my degree in editing. I like it when I can, edit things together, or at least cut out things that I need to, like if I super ruined someone's name or something. But I wanted to do something, and I figured, you know what, I'll treat myself, talk about something I want to talk about. I recently made a Warriors fanfiction. It's a whole book, basically. 20 some odd chapters, so many words and pages. I worked on it all throughout the pandemic. I got back into Warriors a little over a year ago. I was watching, just on a whim, I found a Moon Kitty video. And then I found a lot of Tennille Flowers' videos. And then I found about a Clouded Moon that Tennille Flowers is working on. And then it all spiraled back into me diving headfirst back into the Warriors fandom. It was the Crow song, that AMV that Louis has. The one from the My Little Pony movie song. I don't remember what the name of the song is. It'll be on the screen. That was the one that started it all, and then I just barreled into re-loving the Warriors world, because I used to read Warriors growing up. That was my go-to book. Loved reading all of them, and I read all of them up until the first book of The Fourth Apprentice. And that one, it was such a disappointment. I was really not happy with how Power of Three ended, and then the first one for Fourth Apprentice was just so boring and bad. It was just them doing the beaver thing, and I was so sick of the Dark Forest being the same old cats, the same old villains again, and that was when I kind of stopped reading them, which, now we've got characters, I don't even know who most of these characters are anymore. I have to, figure it out, go to the wiki rather than just read the books. They'll have, crazy AMVs nowadays, and I'm just I'm doing my best to try to figure out who these characters are. But I got most of it figured out. I got the important ones, I think. So yeah, I love the world of warriors, and so I just kind of like had an idea of what if I made my own clan, and then that very quickly spiraled into me making 3 clans and a story to accompany them, and then writing the story, which was incredibly fun to do. It was fun having something to do as a hobby, like in the meantime. My original hobby was making videos, but now this is my full-time job, which I am incredibly grateful for, and I love it. But once that happens, you kind of need to make a new hobby, because you can't just be work all the time. You know, you don't want to turn into Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. So I kind of started doing just writing on my own, and I sent it to my sister, Twins Inc., because she knows warriors, and she would read them, and it was a lot of fun. And then once I was done, I was like, I got all this work and effort put into this. I guess I'll post it online. What's the harm? I made a couple of animations. They're on my channel. I dabbled in animation when I was in like high school and stuff, so it was fun going back into that, and I remembered why I didn't commit to it. Animating is so hard. Takes so much patience. But yeah, so I guess I wanted to just talk about that, because it was a lot of fun, and I've started working on the next one. I'm not very far into it. I've been very busy with Magical Girl May and stuff, and I imagine I'll be busy with Ruby, because that's going to start happening again real soon. But it's still fun to have something to just be working on in the background. But since I finished the first one, called Orion's Belt, I just want to kind of talk about it, and say some things that's been on my mind, because, you know, that's what people do when they have something they're passionate about. So, I've been talking about warriors kind of like expecting you to know warriors by this point. If you don't know, Warriors is a book series about cats that live in clans. And there's several clans in one area, and they have different territories. Like there's border patrols, they try to invade others' territories and stuff. It's very cool, very interesting. They're all wildcats just doing things in the forest, and they have their own little, like, sections. But the interesting thing is the fact that they have, like, organized religion, and they can talk to the dead, basically. They can speak with their ancestors or with cats who have died, and they get prophecies and visions, and a lot of cats get, like, special superpowers because of this. Describing warriors is hard, because when you read it, it all makes sense, but just trying to say it outright is just like, wait a minute? The cat has invincibility? Oh, okay, sure. But it's a lot of fun. It's very unique and interesting, and so I wanted to do my own. Mine is different. Mine is all original characters and stuff, which was a lot of characters to make, but that was most of the fun. Mine takes place in a desert in the American Southwest, because that's where I grew up, and I love the desert. I think the desert is beautiful. I've always thought the desert is beautiful. So many people just think of it as, like, empty dirt and hot, and while those are not inaccurate ways of describing the desert, it's so pretty. There's so much wildlife and interesting plants and creatures and insects, and you get these tall, towering, rocky dells that just look beautiful, and there's a lot of just, like, the rocks in general, like, if you see quarries and stuff, I think it's really cool and really pretty. So rather than just put my cats in another generic forest, I wanted to put it in the desert where I thought it was beautiful. So that's my setting. I have 3 clans: Thorn Clan, Moon Clan, and Rock Clan. Thorn Clan, their territory is littered with cactus and sharp brambles and some of the, like, sharper weeds. Like those plants that are made to live in a harsh desert, you know? Thorn Clan cats are known they're very fast, very sneaky, but they're also considered cowards in the realm of the lore of this world, because their strategy is to run, because they can navigate through all the brambles and cactus and all those things very easily. So if someone is chasing into their territory, they're gonna get they're gonna get slowed down by the thorns and stuff. So either they're gonna barrel themselves into a cactus and hurt themselves, or they have to slow down and navigate. And so it makes sense that their go-to battle strategy would be to kind of run away to get them off their trail. But because of that, there's the stigma that Thorn Clan cats are cowards, which is really fun. With Moon Clan, there's a thing in the Warriors like fandom that Moon is supposedly a special word, but that has been super debunked by this point. And I didn't want to go with Sky Clan, so I went with Moon Clan, and it's my story. I can do what I want. Moon Clan, it's like the empty. When you think of that empty expanse of the clearings in the desert, there's nothing to block out the sky except for some mountains on the horizon. That's Moon Clan's territory. Now, they are known as incredibly laid back because you can see any sort of danger for miles away. If there's an enemy cat or a hawk or a coyote or something, they see it well before it's going to reach them. So they have nothing to really worry much about because they can prepare long ahead of time. But it just makes them seem kind of like aloof. They seem more like lazy compared to the other clans. And then the last one is Rock Clan, who live in the tall rocky dells, which they're very muscular, very strong, but they're also kind of referred to as they're referred to as dumb because strength is so important because they need to be climbing up rocks all the time. The other clans kind of regard them as just kind of brutes, which, that's the three clans. That's the pros and cons of the three clans: Rock Clan, Moon Clan, and Thorn Clan. And it was a lot of fun thinking of my own clans, like how they would work in a desert environment and how the other clans would think of the other clans. That was a lot of fun. That's always one of the most fun parts of doing world building activities with your own stories and stuff. So for a summary of the actual plot itself, one thing I didn't mention about warriors, in case you don't know, even though they are different clans and they're all right next to each other, there is a semblance of peace between them all. They meet once a month at the full moon at the gathering, where the clans come together in an effort to help each other to maintain peace, basically. Talk about things that others might need to be wary of in the area, whether it's sickness or some dangerous animal or something like that, to share information, to make friends across other clans if they can. The intention is not to just war all the time. There is supposed to be some sort of form of camaraderie with the clans, which is an interesting aspect to warriors, and I really like that part. And then they also they have medicine cats who go and meet on the half moons to what in the normal book series it's called the Moonstone or the Moon Pool, depending on which part of the story you're at. In my version, I have them call it the Starstone. It's the same thing. It works exactly the same way, but the Starstone, I didn't want to call it the Moonstone because I already had Moon Clan. That felt weird. But also Starstone, I liked the idea of because in the original books are written by I think they're British, someone in the UK, and I like to think that mine is just the American version. How in America we say things differently than British people? Like we call them diapers and British people call them nappies and whatever. I think it's just the American version of the same concept. And I like the idea of there being more things like that, of just the differences being only the region, and other clans having similar things but also having completely different names for them. Maybe they call it the Wishing Rock or something like that. I don't know. That's part of the fun of doing your own warrior story, is you gotta play kind of fast and loose with the names and gimmicks of these kind of things. So a plot summary for my story is there was a gathering, and the three clans arrive, and when they get there, they find three kits. Their mother is dead. She died in the gathering place, and so the three clans take one kit each, and then we watch those kits growing up. But there is a prophecy One of the kids, Skunk Paw, has a vision, and it foretells danger, doom, and him and his sisters are the ones foretold to help save the desert. And it's the story of them growing up and trying to figure out how to master these magical powers that they start finding themselves with, and how to save the desert from whatever chaos lies on the horizon. So that's a lot of fun. That's the general gist of what the story is. You've probably noticed by now. Probably should have said this before the 16-minute mark, but in the background I'm drawing something. It's like the book cover, basically. Tennille Flowers did this for Cloud and Moon a while back, and that was so much fun, so I just wanted to do a similar thing in the style of, like, the old school Warriors books, because that's the ones I had growing up, with the little, like, square in the middle of another cat, like, face or whatever. Love that. It's so much fun. That's that's the general gist of the story. The characters, we follow the three gathering kits, as they're called. Skunk Paw, who lives in Moon Clan, Mouse Paw, who lives in Rock Clan, and Wild Paw, who lives in Thorn Clan. And they're real different from each other, very interesting. Skunk Paw is very, he's methodical, but also a bit of a downer, like he's very stern for his age. Wild Paw is kind of, she second guesses herself a lot, she doubts herself, she's very somber and sad a lot of the time, and Mouse Paw is very go-getting. She wants to do things, she's filled with energy, and also with a lot of frustrations when, there might be a bit of prejudice floating around her camp towards her. Which, and those the siblings, they all bounce off of each other, and the other cats, really interestingly, at least in my opinion, I hope so. And I love them. I fell in love with them. I fell in love with my three cats, and they're the best. I don't want to spoil too much more of the plot, but I do want to talk about some things with my story that is a little bit different from the books, if you do decide to read this. There's going to be some differences. I already mentioned how it's called the Starstone, which I love the way I did it. I put it in some place called the Star Yard, which is an old construction site, and they have there's two-leg stuff lying around, like pickaxes and stuff, and in the moonlight, it all reflects off the moonlight, off the metal stuff from, like, their pickaxes and the rocks in the quarry and all these other things. And so it looks like this little hole in the ground, this big old, like, construction spot where they were digging up rocks and things. And it's just filled with these, like, glowing spots that look just like the stars or little crescent moons from the pickaxes. It's just so pretty looking in my head, and I'm so proud of it. There are other differences, though. One thing you might notice right away, my story, there are no elders. In the original Warriors books, there were different categories, I guess. There was leader, deputy, who ran the clan. Deputy was second in command. When the leader dies, deputy takes over. I mentioned a medicine cat already. There's warriors, who are the, regular cats who live there, and their apprentices, who are the younger ones who are getting trained. There's queens, who, are pregnant cats. And then there's elders. And I hate the concept of the elders. I don't like them. I thought they were dumb from the very beginning, because they all have these, weird, offensive names in the beginning, which, one of them's called One Eye, and it's like, well, this kid definitely wasn't born with one eye. That means someone just changed their name somewhere down the line to be fitting to what their old person disability is, and it is not good. And now it's this problem with the books that all the characters that we knew from the beginning are becoming elders, but they're not dying. So there's just a million old cats sitting around the camp doing nothing all day. They're just there, and that's all the elders do. They just sit there and be grumpy, and they don't go out and hunt. They don't go out and fight. They just kind of sit there. That's what the elders do. But there's so many because they're not dying for some reason. Even though they're old, they have plenty of reason to be dead. The writers just aren't killing off these elders. So you get this problem where the clan is like overflowing with old people who just sit around and do nothing all day. And they keep being like, we gotta keep hunting and getting more prey to feed everybody. It's like, just kill off some of these characters. And, okay, and here's the thing. So I had a cat growing up, and he was the best. I loved him. He was, like, he lived to be a pretty decent age. I believe he was 20 to 21 years old when he finally died. That's very old for a cat. That is a very, very long-lived life. Even when he was in, like, when he was 20 years old, he was still running around being an entire banana all the time. He would hunt, he would catch shit, he loved catching praying mantises, especially. He would drag them into the house, and he just was catching things all the time. He would run around, he would chase dogs out of our yard. He was badass. And so, if my real-world cat, who, like, is only a half outdoor cat, mostly indoor cat, can live to be the ripe old age of 20 and still run around and do things, then surely these wild cats who are running around all the time would be more willing to, not just retire and spend all day laying around being lazy. Like, that's even one of the things Rusty says in the first books, is that, kitty pets are bad because they just lay around doing nothing all day. Well, that's what the elders do. You're just doing what a kitty pet is doing, but now you're just there on the outside. Run around. You can still do things. So yeah, my story, there are no elders. I think the elders are a stupid concept in general. Another thing with my story, I didn't want too many cats per clan, which is another issue I have with one of the other reasons I stopped reading the books was I just can't keep up. I used to do this thing where I would hold one hand on the glossary, because there was a glossary in the beginning that told you all the cats, who they're related to, what they look like, and I would kind of, as I would read, I would keep a finger there so I could jump back if I was like, oh wait, who is this cat again? And then, oh yeah, that person, okay. Now it got to the point when I stopped reading, where it was constant. Like, every single sentence I was flipping back and forth to the glossary to be like, who are all of you? There's like over 60 cats in just ThunderClan, and it was impossible to keep track of, and I hated it. It was frustrating. So my clans are significantly smaller. I think all three of them have less than 16 cats each, I believe. Something like that. There's no more than 20 per clan, I know that. And not only is the reason just because I want it that way, but there's also an in-universe reason. There's also an in-universe reason why there's not many, parents of fully grown cats. Because, again, I didn't want that. I didn't want to make a gigantic spidering family tree. So what the in-universe excuse is that there was a really big fire, it swept across the desert, and a lot of those older cats died, rescuing their younger cats who were newly fledged warriors or apprentices and stuff, and that's the older crew we have at the start of the story. Which, they talk about it. It was a relevant event. It does play a pretty big role in the story moving forward, but yeah, I just did not want, there's this person's grandparents, and then their great-grandparents. It was just confusing the family trees. So, another big difference with my story is how StarClan works. In the original books, they're very much, they're very, active with talking to the cats, whoever our point of view characters are throughout the stories, and I kind of don't like that, because they also insist on butting in every single chapter, but also refuse to say anything, and I kind of hate that. I agreed with Yellowfang. I remember that very specifically. At the start of The Fourth Apprentice, Yellowfang was sitting there talking about how she was so pissed off because she wanted to just speak plainly and do it, why make another long, goofy prophecy And they're like, no, we have to do it this way. And Yellowfang was not happy about that. And I was with Yellowfang. I was like, yeah, why do we need, just speak normally. So the way my StarClan works is different. They, mild spoilers, I suppose. There is a character who explains it almost like you're having a really good dream. But you don't really know what you're doing. You're just sort of dreaming. And when the medicine cats or whoever needs to speak to someone in StarClan, it's not like a one-to-one direct conversation. The StarClan cat has to force themselves to wake up, basically. Like, you know that thing when you're asleep and you're trying to wake yourself up, and it's that heavy feeling of ripping yourself out of your dream state? It's like that, but you're always gonna fall back asleep because they're dead. So it's a lot more effort to just speak at all, and that's why communication is often short and brief. And most importantly, StarClan cats, it's not their job to tell you what things are going on. They don't know what's happening. They are just as much in the dark as you are. They, as another character puts it, they're not prophets, they're messengers. You know, and they can get lost along the way, which we will see in my story if you read it. There's a StarClan cat who gets a little lost and things happen. And that's how different, like, aspects of, like, how StarClan can communicate works in my story, which I think cuts out a lot of the contrivances of, oh, I talk with StarClan every single day, but they won't give me any of the answers I need. Similarly, I don't have a dark forest. I don't think, it wouldn't be called the dark forest, it'd be called like the dark desert or something like that. I don't have it in my story. I imagine I probably will incorporate it eventually. Like, it's there, it's just not relevant during this story at all. Because I really don't like how often Warriors proper just relies on the Dark Forest to be the bad guys again. Like, you know, it's just Tiger Star again, and Hogfrost again, and they're just always the same one. The evil Hellcats are teaching the living cats how to be bad. And it's just, I didn't like it. Also, if I was to incorporate the Dark Desert, I don't think I would call it that, first of all, but also I would want to do something really interesting with its design, which doesn't help that I always imagined the Dark Forest as super boring. Like, just the way Moon Kitty draws the Dark Forest. Like, it's just gray with black trees and that's it. That's how I always pictured it. But then I watched, like, This Is Halloween AMV from this person, I don't remember their name, and the way they incorporated it into being like thorns and stuff, that was way cool. Also, this other one I saw where it was like a swamp and everything was sticky, that was super cool. So like, I could definitely be more creative than just darkness. So if I was to incorporate the Dark Forest, eventually I would. It is irrelevant now, and it would probably work similarly to how StarClan works, where it's not, they're not sitting there, like, talking every night, being like, let me train you to be an evil cat. No, it probably wouldn't be that way. So that's basically everything I kind of wanted to talk about. Just a nice little moment to discuss my warrior cats, and just warriors in general. I would love to talk about warriors more. You know, there's several animations on my radar that I have been intrigued by, so I'm waiting on those to kind of, like, develop a little bit more, and I would love to make videos about them. I've been considering getting the newest book, but I don't know. I don't know, this was just a lot of fun, and I hope you check out, if you like warriors, and if anything I said sounds interesting, check out my story. If you want, I could post, I have pictures of, like, the whole clans, like, from the beginning, and what they all look like, so if you want that, I can post that on Twitter or something, if that's, like, something you want to check out. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. This was about what I expected. Let me know what you think. Do you like the idea of my warrior story? Do you like this kind of premiere format with with super chats and stuff. I don't know. This was wholly experimental. Just something fun and interesting to do to kind of take it easy after Magical Girl May. But I had a great time. I had a lot of fun talking. I guess I'll see you next time. I'll name off my $10 patrons first, and then I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Shout out to my $10 patrons. You're all amazing. Nako, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Trey Not Dre, Noah Perkins, Sunny Shy, Azoth, Great Bar, Pentamenta, Jake, Storm, Amber, Hype Man, Luno, Zero to Hero, Keithan, Joseph, Scaring Crows, Blue Wiz, Danny Boy, Holly Anderson, and Mary. So yeah, I hope you liked this. I had a lot of fun, and any and all thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments below. There will be a link to my fanfiction. It's on AO3. There's gonna be a link. It'll be the top one in the description if you want to check it out. And I'll post the picture I drew here on Twitter at some time too. So yeah, thanks. Bye bye.